Thank you for checking out Lakehead International's videos. You're about to watch one of our Lakehead International live webinars, a fun and informative way to learn more about Lakehead while also meeting faculty, staff, and current students. If you have any questions throughout today's video, please comment below. Otherwise, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lakehead International Live. My name is Jordan Ball. I'll be your host today. First and foremost, I want to thank you for joining us, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, or your evening. I hope you're excited to learn more about our hometowns in Thunder Bay and Orillia, Ontario, Canada. I'm also excited to be joined by several special guests from our Thunder Bay and Orillia campus who I'll introduce in just a moment. Once again, my name is Jordan. I am the International New and Social Media Officer. I help run all of our live events, our digital experiences, as well as our social media channels and the Global Ambassador Program here on the Thunder Bay campus. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Martin to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Martin. I'm from Colombia. I'm an international student assistant at Lakehead University, and I am in my second year of computer science.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Martin. And next, I'll pass it over to Claire.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claire. I'm an international student assistant at the Orillia campus. I actually did my first undergraduate degree in Thunder Bay, and now I'm in teacher education in Orillia.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Claire. And of course, we'll also be joined by a second international student assistant on the Orillia campus shortly here, and her name is Emily Ranta. So next, I want to chat a bit about things to remember. If you like what you see, don't worry, we are recording today's session, and you'll be able to access that link on our YouTube channel at Lakehead International in the next few business days. If you do have any questions, whether you're watching live, you can pose those in the Q&A function. If you're watching this as a recording, you can simply comment on the YouTube video. I also want to remind you and encourage you to stay connected and follow us on our social media channels, which are across the bottom of your screen at Lakehead International on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We post about future updates for upcoming webinars and events and opportunities to connect with us, but also it gives you that insider sneak peek into Lakehead University and the student experience. We also share important updates related to admissions and other announcements here at Lakehead University, but specifically for international students. And in terms of our agenda, what are we going to cover? I'll kick things off chatting a bit more about some of those upcoming events that are going to help you explore Lakehead a bit deeper, including our Academics Explored and our Lakehead Explored series. And then we're going to actually dive into the topics that you came to join us here for, and that's all about our hometowns of Thunder Bay and Orillia. We're going to explore the history of those hometowns, some of the recreation and entertainment opportunities, and then we're actually going to chat about our campuses, Lakehead Thunder Bay and Lakehead Orillia, and in terms of the connection to what's close to campus, what you can find on campus, and all that sort of stuff. So we have plenty to cover, and with that being said, let's dive right into it. So for those of you who don't know, of course, Lakehead University is far from ordinary. And if you've already applied, then you're ready to start this great adventure. But if you're still in the process of deciding whether or not Lakehead is the right choice for you, of course, we strongly encourage you to ask a lot of questions so that you can work with us and we can work together to help make that exciting decision about what your next stages are. Lakehead University, of course, is a unique university. And so at this point, I want to ask our audience to take a moment and think about your university years. Do you want them to be typical? Do you want them to be just like everyone else? Or do you want them to be extraordinary and exceptional and unconventional? So imagine, if you will, a university that provides a transformative education that's far from ordinary, but also a place that's filled with adventure and excitement. We also offer classrooms that take you out into the beautiful surroundings of our campuses and uses it as our natural laboratories to enhance your studies. And we couple that with an education that helps shape you and your future using world-renowned facilities and researchers that will challenge you and guide you in whichever area of study you choose to pursue. But also a community that rallies behind and supports every kind of team and is proud of its students and its own accomplishments. So at Lakehead University, we have so much to be proud of. We are the #2 undergraduate research university in Canada. And for a number of years, we were #1 for 5 consecutive years. We are #1. We're also among Canada's top primarily undergraduate universities in the top 10 in Canada. And that also includes being the fact that we are in the top for research dollars, citations, scholarships and awards and bursaries, library acquisitions. The Huffington Post has said that Lakehead University is one of Canada's most beautiful university campuses. We're also recognized as one of 5 hidden gem universities in Canada by Huffington Post. We're one of the top 10 most innovative universities in Canada by the Impact Group, and we're so looking forward to have you join our Wolf Pack or our Thunder Wolf Pack. So on that note, you may be wondering, of course, as today's webinar is about our hometowns, where are we located? So for those of you who are a bit familiar with Canada, we have a province and territory system. So we are in the province of Ontario. In Ontario, you are most likely familiar with the city of Toronto. As an international student, you may have heard about it. You may have seen it on TV. You may be familiar with its many sports teams, such as the Blue Jays or the Toronto Maple Leafs or Toronto FC. But of course, our hometowns of Thunder Bay and Orillia are located just 90 minutes from Toronto, whether it's by flight or by driving. So our Thunder Bay campus, you can see on your screen here, is in Northwestern Ontario, and it's a 90-minute flight to Toronto with connections to the world at that point. And our Orillia campus is a 90-minute drive to Toronto in central Ontario, also just a 90-minute drive. So both of our hometowns are friendly, safe, and inexpensive cities that we have the pleasure of calling home. But next, I want to dive a bit deeper into Thunder Bay and share all about it. So to begin, Thunder Bay is actually one of the largest cities in Northwestern Ontario, situated in the heart of Canada. With incredible art, music, film, and culinary scenes, Canada's greatest outdoor city is perfect for those who are not so outdoorsy as well. It's also located on the shores of Lake Superior, the world's largest freshwater lake. And Thunder Bay is located in a geographic center of Canada with the border of the United States just 45 minutes south. Thunder Bay also boasts an international airport which receives daily direct flights from Winnipeg and Toronto and dozens of other locations here in Ontario. So Thunder Bay is sometimes called the Lakehead because it is known as the head of the Great Lakes system. Thunder Bay is located on Lake Superior and is surrounded by numerous parks and wilderness areas. Some of the major industries that are happening here include transportation, manufacturing, education, mining, and forestry, as well as administration. So some quick facts for you to know is Thunder Bay has 7 shopping districts, 3 major airlines serving the Thunder Bay International Airport, over 180 restaurants featuring foods and tastes, flavors from around the world, over 20 annual city festivals events, and over 305 days of sunshine. So with that being said, as we segue into the next slide, and as I share more a bit about the history of Thunder Bay, pardon me, before I get to that slide, I'm actually going to launch a poll for our audience to learn a bit more about Thunder Bay. So my question is, when did Thunder Bay officially become a city? January 1970, April 1907, May 1870, or July 1908. So take your time. For those audience members, don't go Google this. We're going to share more information. I'm going to explain all the dates here. So I want you to take an opportunity to just have fun with this poll and pose the question to yourself. When do you think Thunder Bay became a city? So I'll give everyone, 30 seconds or so to answer this poll. And then I'll share some of the results, of course, but also I'll reveal the answer to everyone. Awesome. So it looks like we have some varied answers right now. There's one so far that 2 of them actually are taking the lead in terms of when did it happen. However, we're going to see what the answer is going to be in just a moment here. So once again, I'll give everyone a few more seconds to answer that, and then I'll end the poll and I'll reveal the results for you as we segue into the next History of Thunder Bay slide. Alrighty, so I'm going to share those results. It looks like 45% of you think it is January 1970. 35% think it's April 1907, 10% think it's May 1870, and 10% think it's July 1908. So I'm going to work up from the least selected to the most selected. July 1908 was actually when the city of Thunder Bay was the first city in the entire world to recognize and enact daylight savings time. So if you're not familiar with what daylight savings time is, you can certainly Google that. It's essentially where we set our clocks either forwards or backwards each fall and spring to get a bit more daylight here. May 1870 is actually when the Prince Arthur's Landing was established, which I'll chat about in just a moment when we talk about Thunder Bay's waterfront. So it's not that answer. April 1907 was when the cities of Port Arthur and Fort William were formed officially. So it's also not that answer. So for those viewers that selected January 1970, you are correct. That is when Thunder Bay officially became a city. It actually amalgamated between two different hometowns. And so that's a great segue into my next slide, where we are going to discuss the history of Thunder Bay. So humans have been living in this area for over 10,000 years, and the stone tools, spear points, axe heads, and scraping as implements that have been found provide valuable clues about life in the early days. Port Arthur, named after Prince Arthur, son of Queen Victoria, Port Arthur actually thrived as a transshipment and grain handling port for the CNR after the railway was opened to Winnipeg, Manitoba in December 1901. The major shipping port was responsible for moving projects from Western Canada through the Great Lakes, and it still does to this day. And from 1871 onward, Port Arthur was designated as the administrative center for the Thunder Bay District. Fort William, on the other hand, was named after the fur trading settlement that formed at the head of Lake Superior, which is where the canoe route for the Great Lakes to Western Canada began. So once again, those two cities were formed back in the day, back in 1907, I believe. Now I'm going off my memory here. And then amalgamated and became one city, the city of Thunder Bay, in 1970. So chatting a bit about Thunder Bay and diving a bit deeper, I want to share about the waterfront. So this is actually the Prince Arthur's Landing, and that actually reflects back to its original name back in the 1800s. So it's vibrant, it's diverse, it's inclusive. Thunder Bay's waterfront district provides a unique opportunity with dozens of businesses. And the waterfront district is also a historic Port Arthur and offers a wonderful variety of activities, dining, shopping options that's perfect for just about anyone. So once again, Prince Arthur's Landing at the Thunder Bay waterfront is an area filled with year-round excitement and fun, just steps away from the shores of Lake Superior, but also steps away from that downtown waterfront district, which is home to, like I said, dozens of shops and restaurants, bars, pubs, coffee, cafes. So in the summer months, of course, boats fill the harbor and ocean-bound ships come and go, and the smells and sounds of many festivals fill the air. Families can enjoy the splash pad. Diners enjoy the restaurants and the outdoor patios down here. Live on the Waterfront is a really popular event that's a free concert series that is over 100 years old, where award-winning touring acts actually take the stage, entertaining Thunder Bay crowds down here at the waterfront. In the winter, that same splash pad that I mentioned becomes a skating rink with a fireplace at the center. And there's also winter fun days, and they take over the entire waterfront. You can try snowshoeing, dog sledding, fat biking, and more. And typically it's all offered for free and by the city of Thunder Bay. You can also check out stuff like the annual snow sculpture competition on the snow day, which typically takes place in February each year. And then coming soon, actually down here, is going to be the Thunder Bay Art Gallery, which will renew the connections to the formerly industrial Thunder Bay waterfront. So as I mentioned, being a transshipment hub, this was at one point a very industrial and industry-focused center of our hometown. And now we are revitalizing that connection with modern spaces that celebrate the art gallery's diverse art collection. So the main hall itself is going to be designed and influenced very strongly by Indigenous narratives and embraces the surrounding landscape with its spectacular view, of course, of Lake Superior and the Sleeping Giant, which I'll share about in just a moment. So as I noted, heading downtown is a really exciting opportunity because you can shop. So Thunder Bay has some really premier shopping areas featuring, of course, boutiques, specialty shops, antique shops, children's clothing, hair salons, tattoo parlors, and so much more. Eating down here, you can also find me when you join us here in Thunder Bay. You'll probably find me down here on my weekends or my evenings enjoying a quick bite to eat. This has some of the best dining in town and offers something for every palate, essentially. And then, of course, this is the perfect opportunity to play down here, to get out and enjoy the culture, the theater, the recreational opportunities that Thunder Bay has to offer. And talking about recreational opportunities, it's a great segue into discussing Boulevard Lake, but also the broader parks and recreation, which are aplenty here. So seen here, of course, as I mentioned, is Boulevard Lake, which is a large public park area located in and maintained by the city. The park is centered on Boulevard Lake, and the main park itself is 74 acres in size. It features a playground, a sand beach, canoeing, kayaking, and other water sports activities. It also has mini golf, tennis, picnic tables, a concessions area, washrooms, changing rooms, paddle boats, canoe rentals. So in the past, the main park has played a host to even Thunder Bay's own Dragon Boat Festival in late July, a 2-day event featuring dragon boat races and live musical performance and concessions. And winter activities include tobogganing down the slopes of the eastern shore of the north portion of the lake. So Thunder Bay itself, although this is one of its many parks, actually has over 100 parks, over 32 kilometers of paved recreational trails. We also have outdoor skating rinks, dog parks, outdoor events, including kite festivals, carnivals, car shows, picnic areas, mini putt, disc golf, botanical gardens, hiking, skiing, and biking opportunities. Recreational opportunities, like I said, are aplenty here in Thunder Bay. And coming back to something I mentioned earlier, the sleeping giant. This is actually the Sibley Peninsula, or well known to people of Thunder Bay and people around the world even, is the sleeping giant. It's a natural rock formation in the shape of a giant sleeping person. The rock juts out into Lake Superior, and there are many stories about this landmark. One Ojibwe story and legend identifies the giant as Nanabiju, who turned to stone when the secret location of a rich silver mine, now known as Silver Islet, was disclosed to voyagers. It's now part of a national park system, and you can also camp, canoe, bike, hike in and around the Thunder Bay landmark. So this is a really awesome place to go out and venture. We typically have excursions for our students in the summer to participate in with fellow international students. If outdoors and nature maybe isn't your thing, but you want to rally behind our sports teams and get behind really exciting events and opportunities, the Fort William Gardens is a multi-purpose arena here in Thunder Bay, and it hosts large sporting events, concerts, conferences throughout the year. It's also home to Lakehead University's Thunderwolf hockey team. So the Thunderwolves men's hockey team typically plays 20 games here at the Fort William Gardens. These games are a great opportunity for students to go out and experience Canadian hockey, but also for students living in residence, they have the opportunity to sit with all of their housemates and peers in the residence dedicated section. So that's one really exciting opportunity. This year, our Thunderwolves men's hockey team on the Thunder Bay campus actually made it into the final playoffs, where we saw record-breaking crowds, filled stadiums with thousands of people joining us each and every night that our Thunderwolves competed for the cup. Switching gears here, chatting about some of the surrounding areas, you can see here Mount McKay, which is a large mountain on the south core of Thunder Bay and is host to a city lookout and Indigenous events like powwows, is just 20 minutes from the campus. You can also see at the top right of your screen the Loch Lomond ski hills. So this is one of 2 ski hill areas in Thunder Bay located near both Loch Lomond and Mount McKay. There's also an amazing golf course called the Fort William Country Club. Chatting a bit more about some of the culture and Indigenous events that happen here. Thunder Bay is filled with music and cultural festivals and food events, and there's always something happening each and every weekend here in Thunder Bay. Like I noted, we have the Live on the Waterfront summer concert series, but we also have the Thunder Bay Blues Festival, Country on the Bay, where it provides over 18,000 concert goers with an all-star lineup of musicians in the blues, rock, and a little alt country, as well as folk music genres. But you can also take in some of the local street festivals like the Westford Street Fair or the Buskers Festival, or experience cultures of the world without ever leaving the city at events like Festival of India or Festa Italiana. And of course, you wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to indulge in something called the Rib Fest if you indulge in eating pork, of course. So that is just some of the exciting things happening here in Thunder Bay. As it is March and we're still in winter, I would be remiss not to share a bit more about our ski areas. So this, like I noted, is Loch Lomond. It has over 10 different runs that you can enjoy with all different levels of experiences necessary. So whether it's your first time strapping on a set of skis or a snowboard, or you're maybe more well-versed, and you want to just come out and enjoy some of the winter sun, you can absolutely do that. And we also have Mount Baldy, which is on the north side of Thunder Bay, or the old Port Arthur, which also has 10 runs for you to enjoy with varying levels of experience necessary. So these are great opportunities to get out and test some new skills, but also do something truly Canadian. And with that also being said, on the Mount Baldy mountain, they also have snow tubing, which is a really exciting opportunity that oftentimes our international students get to go to. So chatting a bit about our campuses here in Thunder Bay, Lakehead University is actually situated in the heart of the city of Thunder Bay. So fields and green space surround our campus, and all of our buildings are conveniently located together in one location, creating a true campus feel. Many of the university's buildings are grouped around Lake Tamlin, which is actually pictured here in the photo at the lower half of your screen. And our residence complexes hug the facilities, hug the banks of the McIntyre River. Underground tunnels connect many of our main and centralized buildings on campus, allowing for easy access between classes and facilities. We also have paved trails that surround campus and make it the perfect place to take advantage of taking in the beauty of the area, whether you're just walking, jogging, rollerblading, bicycling, or in the winter, even cross-country skiing. Over 7,500 students call Thunder Bay campus home. Some quick facts for you include that Thunder Bay offers a 15-to-1 student to professor ratio. We have one lake on campus. We have one river running through campus. We have over 100 hectares of campus space for our students. And those are just some quick facts, but you may also be wondering, where is Thunder Bay, or where is Lakehead? So this is a quick overview. As I noted, it's in the heart of Thunder Bay itself. You can see the North Core for Port Arthur or the South Core, Fort William. As a student here on campus, you'll have access either through an included bus pass or a heavily discounted bus pass that allows you access to city transportation across Thunder Bay. You can also see here on this little map we've drawn is getting around to campus, or getting to campus is quite easy. So it's about 11 minutes from the Thunder Bay International Airport, and quite an easy jaunt over there. Looking at campus itself, you can see our athletics building on the lower half. You can see our residence buildings, and then our main campus with a vast majority of our academics. So changing this view and looking, I'll note here also you can see Nana Bijou, or the sleeping giant, in the far background of this image, that stature of the sleeping giant. Looking from the other angle, so that just to give you a better idea, you can also see the same building. So a bit more about residence, our main campus buildings, and then athletics. So once again, as well as our faculty of education pictured here. So once again, to our viewers, this gives you an idea of how tightly knit our campus is and the access you'll have, whether it's walking from one building to the next between classes. It's quite easy. But in terms of walking and your access to the greater community, things that are close to campus include grocery stores, several shopping centers, our mall. So number one, just 2 kilometers away from campus is the Superstore, which includes a variety of basic necessities in terms of groceries, but it also includes international selection. So it has an entire aisle dedicated to international foods, where they actually will bring in brands, items that you're familiar with and seen in your home grocery stores. Number 2, shopping center includes Walmart, Indigo, Best Buy, Staples, so some of your basic supplies for schooling, for electronics, or just about anything with that. Number 3 is our shopping mall, Intercity Shopping Center, with well over 50 stores and a variety of selections and opportunities for students, whether it's going there to spend a bit of money and treat yourself, or it's potentially going to serve as a part-time job at one point. This is a really great space for students. Number 4 includes the Canadian Tire, Winners, HomeSense, Old Navy, and more stores are being built each and every year. Just slightly off screen to the left here, we also have the Silver City Cineplex Theater, which is our movie theater. You can often find me in there Tuesday nights, which is cheap night, but also a very popular destination for our students. So with that being said, folks, that is all about Thunder Bay. I want to take this opportunity to pause and ask questions. Do you want to know more about Thunder Bay? What can I answer? What can Martin, one of our students who lives here in Thunder Bay and joined us originally from Colombia, what can he share more about our hometown? And then we are going to switch gears and pass it over to Claire and Emily, who are going to share more about Orillia. So give me a second here as I look through the Q&A. This question I'll answer live. It says, I've heard Canada is cold, but the place looks quite sunny overall. How are the temperatures? So of course, yes, Canada welcomes and embraces a truly Canadian experience, as do our hometowns. So you're going to get the best of all 4 seasons when you join us here at Lakehead. You'll get a beautiful summer, which you've seen plenty of photos for, plenty of sun in our hometowns. Our 2 hometowns are some of the sunniest cities in Canada, and we're recognized for that. But then, of course, you're still going to get the beautiful fall with the changing leaf colors. And you're going to get a true Canadian winter with plenty of snow, but also plenty of things to do, plenty of recreational opportunities. In terms of temperature, in Thunder Bay, just give me a second here. I have actually, now that I think about it, some of our averages laid out in our handy dandy view book. So I'll pull up those live numbers for you, and that will give you a better idea. And once again, I'm going to answer for Thunder Bay first, and then I'll also share a bit about Orillia. So in the summer, we're looking at an average daily high of 22 degrees Celsius, with that is sort of our wet season or our most rainy season here in Thunder Bay. In the autumn, we're looking at an average daily high of 10 degrees Celsius. In the winter, we're looking at an average daily high of -7 degrees. I will note, of course, that is the high and that's an average. So that takes the entire winter span. Of course, it's going to dip below that -7. It's going to be quite a bit colder at some points, but we definitely have workshops. We have the tips and tricks to help you stay warm. And then in the spring, as we come around from winter and we enter summer, we're going to look at an average daily high of just over 8 degrees Celsius. In our Orillia campus, pardon me, switching gears here, in the summer, we're looking at 26.7 degrees. In the autumn, 14.7. In the winter, just below 0. So it's actually -0.03. And in the spring, we're looking at 10.7. So that gives you a good idea as to the different temperatures you can anticipate. Orillia is more southernly located, so that's why they're a bit warmer. But also being the fact that we're both located on the lake, and specifically here in Thunder Bay, being located on Lake Superior, one of the largest Great Lakes in the world, we have something called the lake effect, which keeps our cities a bit warmer. So just scrolling through here, alrighty, I'm going to leave some of the rest of these questions to Martin to answer behind the scenes as I pass it over to our team in Orillia and sharing more all about Orillia. I want to also take this opportunity to introduce Emily Ranta, who's going to say a few words before Claire kicks things off.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Ranta. I am almost graduating my 4th year in the social work program on the Orillia campus. I've lived in Orillia for 4 years now, and I'm really excited to tell you all about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us, Emily. I know you have a busy schedule today and you have a small amount of time to be with us. So I'm going to pass it over to Claire, who's going to share a bit more about the city of Orillia.
Awesome. So people who live in Orillia really get to experience the best of both worlds. Orillia is just less than 90 minutes from the Greater Toronto Area. And even though growth and progress have been strong in recent years, Orillia, or we also call it the Sunshine City, has worked hard to retain the small town charm that has captivated generations. The city of Orillia is located in the heart of Ontario's Lake Country on the shores of Lake Couchiching and Lake Simcoe. And with a population of over 30,000 people and access to several cities nearby, Orillia is able to offer students with big city amenities, but in more of a small town and intimate setting. And so within Orillia, we have really strong healthcare and social assistance, good public administration, lots of different retail trade, accommodation and food services, as well as manufacturing.
Awesome. I'm going to jump in here before we move on to the
perfect.
history of Orillia. And once again, I'm going to launch a poll. So Emily, you didn't see this poll at the beginning, but we did this for Thunder Bay. I would like to know, when did Orillia officially become a city? Was it 1867, 1969, 1961, or 1912? Given our audience already had this opportunity to answer Thunder Bay, I hope no one went online and Googled it. To our audience, don't do it. Don't go and Google it now. I'm going to reveal the answer here shortly and share more about what these dates mean. Once again, each of these dates are significant to our hometown in Orillia, but I will reveal that in just a moment. So I'll give everyone about 30 seconds or so to continue to respond to this poll, and then I'll reveal the answer. Awesome. So here are the results of that poll. We had 16% of our viewers today say 1867, 47% said 1969, 26% said 1961, 11% said 1912. So once again, working from the smallest answering, 1912 was actually the year that Orillia adopted daylight savings time after none other than Thunder Bay. So it made it the second city in the entire world to acknowledge daylight savings time. So a unique little connection there. Thunder Bay being the first city in the world to enact daylight savings time, and our second hometown of Orillia being the second in the world. Then moving up to 1867, this is actually when Orillia was incorporated as a village, the same year that Canada became a nation officially. Then moving down to 1961, this is actually when Orillia launched their now famous Mariposa Folk Festival, which is also Canada's longest running folk festival. And to those viewers, a vast majority of you, 47%, said 1969. You are correct. That is when Orillia was incorporated as a city. So that's a bit about Orillia. Once again, I'm going to pass it back to Claire.
Awesome. And so, going a little bit more into the history of Orillia. Orillia is also situated on the water, and its history is deeply tied to its water. It is located where the narrows of Lake Simcoe flow into Lake Couchiching. And so Orillia was a gathering place for centuries before Europeans used it to bring furs to the market. Sir John Simcoe, first governor of Upper Canada, fostered permanent settlement of the area. And it's a gateway to the Muskoka region, and it's been home to lumber, manufacturing, and artistic endeavors. So going a little bit more into the waterfront of Orillia.
Claire, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm going to share
please.
a fun fact for those of you.
Please do.
So the word Orillia is actually likely derived from the Spanish word for banks of a river or shore of a lake, Orillia. So that's where we anticipate that we actually got the name of our hometown. This name was actually given by Sir Peregrine Maitland, the Lieutenant Governor of Upper Canada, who served in Spain. So that's why they've made that connection of anticipating that's where he came up with the name. And so that's a fun little fact about our hometown of Orillia. But also, as Claire mentioned, our connection to waters on both of our hometowns run deep. And so it's a great connection to sharing more about our waterfront. And with that, Claire will take it off.
Love it. So the waterfront is home to numerous events and festivals every year. And it includes more than 21 acres of park space at both Centennial Park and Couchiching Beach Park, which is a focal point for community festivals and special events. And so there's just always things happening at the waterfront in Orillia, especially throughout the summer months. There's festivals all the time. One of the most popular ones that's really fun is called the Waterfront Festival. And so at the end of August, you can go and there's lots of vendors and food to try, and even a cardboard boat race. So you can build your own boat and get in the waterfront yourself. Moving into Orillia's downtown area, this is where I spend so much of my time. It's a charming downtown streetscape on Mississauga Street, and it's highlighted by more than 150 shops and over 30 restaurants. And it's just the perfect place to find specialty items and gifts, and then relax with friends and family over spectacular meals. You can get anything from pizza and burgers to more Epicurean delights, and you'll find popular and unique types of food at all price points. If you have a really sweet tooth, there's also lots of different bakeries that pride themselves on making handcrafted treats that you just can't find anywhere else, including dairy and gluten-free options. And so often I'll find myself studying in downtown Orillia. There's lots of cool coffee shops and cafes around. And then in between classes, we often go downtown to grab lunch. Our new favorite place is this place called Shine. They just have lots of different smoothies and food options there. And then there's also Mariposa Market, which I just have to mention. It's super famous to everyone around here. They have a fantastic bakery and just so many good treats to enjoy.
I'm curious to hear Emily's feedback and input on sort of her favorite destinations in downtown Orillia. I will also add on to that when Emily's done, because I too have some favorite destinations down here.
In terms of coffee shops and cafes, Claire is bang on. Two of my favorites are called Lone Wolf Cafe, which is kind of on brand with Lakehead, which is cool. And then the other one is Mark IV Brothers, which is not necessarily right downtown, but it's just off of downtown, and it's a really cool place. It was an old garage that they converted into a cafe. So there's a lot of great places to study. And my favorite place to eat in downtown Orillia is Rustica. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's an Italian style, or it's almost authentic, I would say. I've been to Italy, and it's like pizza, fresh pasta. They do really great work. And then for more casual food, I like going to Brewery Bay or Kensington's. It's also a really good one.
Awesome. You're naming some great restaurants, both of you. I know my last visit to Orillia actually did meet up with Claire at Lone Wolf Cafe, and it was incredible. And then, I mean, Claire's mention of Shine, I was literally there just before our coffee shop meetup, and we had a great lunch there. And then also Kensington Market, Brewery Bay. I've done it all down in Orillia. So although I'm of course biased maybe a bit to Thunder Bay being my hometown, when you're out and about and traveling like I was in terms of going to Orillia, it's always great to try new things. And so I similarly share the same passion for some of these restaurants. Switching gears here and moving, of course, this is all about the downtown, and an exciting downtown at that. I'm going to pass it back to Claire, who's going to chat about recreational opportunities being Scout Valley and beyond.
Yeah, so Scout Valley is an incredible place in Orillia. It's a 230-acre city-owned oasis, and it's located at the southwest edge of Orillia, just minutes away from campus. There are 3 loop trails at Scout Valley that you can walk through, and it's dominated by mature deciduous forest. There's also a refreshing spring of water and a small stream, and at the top of a hill is a lookout with fine views across Lake Simcoe and Lake Couchiching. And so lots of my classes actually will often go out to Scout Valley, and we'll do place-based education, and we'll just learn in nature and from nature. And so yeah, in 4 or 5 of my classes, we spent time coming into nature and taking our learning outside. There's also, I talked a little bit about the waterfront at the beginning, but I just wanted to highlight a little bit more Couchiching Beach Park. It includes the town dock and sandy beach areas that attract many to Lake Couchiching each summer. It's 14.5-acre park, and it's home to many special events and features the historic Champlain Monument. There's also the Rotary Train, which is run by the Rotary Club of Orillia, and it's stationed at Couchiching Beach Park and brings joy to so many visitors during the summer months. It starts running around the end of June, and it goes until the beginning of September on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 12 to 5, and it also runs on holiday Mondays. And then just a stone's throw from downtown, the waterfront is also home to French's Hot Dog Stand, which opened way back on June 3rd, 1920. And it's still, when you go today, it conjures images of a bygone era. And so it's And then lastly, it's located beside the scenic Couching Beach Park are the eateries, chairs, and tables, which have welcomed Stephen Leacock and generations of residents and visitors. And this is another place lots of my classes enjoy doing outside learning. And so we've also come to Couching Beach Park to do different environmental activities. And then it's also just one of my favorite places to go and walk. It's busy and exciting in the summer months, but it's also stunningly beautiful in the winter with the snow. And so, yeah, I spend lots of time walking down here.
Awesome. And next, I'm going to share a bit more about some of the winter activities located nearby. So located just 20 minutes from Orillia, Horseshoe Resort is a popular destination for residents of Orillia, but as well as Barrie and even Toronto. It has over 28 ski and snowboard runs, 30 kilometers of groomed Nordic tracks, a terrain park, snow tubing, snowshoeing, fat biking, golfing, man-made lake, indoor and outdoor pools, treetop trekking, Yamaha adventures, hiking and biking trails, 2 restaurants, spa, and more. Essentially, there's something for everyone to do here. This is just one of the opportunities. Of course, this is a paid opportunity for some of you, but it's a great way to experience Canadian winter and also to get better acquainted into what makes Canada such a great destination to study. Another option is the Blue Mountain Resort, located just 1 hour and 20 minutes from Orillia. It offers guests with over 40 runs, again, with a variety of difficulty to suit a range of experience levels. And skiing and snowboarding isn't necessarily something that interests you. You can always enjoy snow tubing, pictured on the bottom right here. And not only do they have the ski hills, they also have year-round adventures. So they have the canoeing, the kayaking, treetop climbing, scenic caves, golf, and indoor water park. So those are just a few of the things that make Orillia and the surrounding area really exciting. I'm going to pass it over now to Emily, who's going to share a bit more about our hometown, or pardon me, our campus in Orillia.
Thanks, Jordan. I also just wanted to add Horseshoe Resort, LUSU, our student union, every year for the past 2 years has actually chartered a bus so that all students can go to Horseshoe Resort and go snow tubing. So if that's something you're interested in, keep your eye out for that in the winter semester. So the Lakehead Orillia campus is a growing, vibrant, close-knit community located in the heart of the city of Orillia, offering more than 17 undergraduate and graduate degree programs, my bad. So some quick facts about our campus. So we actually have grown quite a bit. We have over 1,800 students. And we have a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So that means like for every one professor, there's 13 students, which is a very small ratio, which is something that if you're coming to the Orillia campus, you will notice. You will get to know your professors. They'll know your name. They'll know when you're missing. They'll check up on you and be like, hey, I noticed you weren't in class. Like, what's going on? There's really that personal connection. And then so our campus is also LEED certified, which stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So our campus has over 85 hectares of campus space. So we'll show you a map in a few minutes and you'll see that there's a lot of fields around campus. So some people, this is very interesting to them. They're like, it looks like we're in the middle of a farm, but it's actually a really great space and they're trying to use some of that space for education as well. So stay tuned for that. And then we have a 240-room residence. So this residence is open all year round for conference services. One of the main attractions near Orillia is called Boots and Hearts, which is a concert. So we have tons of people come and stay in residence for Boots and Hearts. And of course, if you need a place to stay in the summer, if you're not looking off campus, there are options to stay in the residence during the summer. So again, don't be fooled by the abundance of open space around us. This, I believe, last time Jordan and I talked about this photo, it's quite an old photo now. It's almost unrecognizable. We really can't keep up with the development happening around us. So our campus was built in 2010. And since then, there have been literally hundreds of homes built in addition to a Costco and a ton of new restaurants that we'll talk about in just a moment, opening right across the road. So it's very exciting. So our campus is in the area that we call Westridge. So this is a term used by everyone in Orillia to describe this area. So it's on the west side of town. And it takes less than 15 minutes to actually ride the City of Orillia bus from campus to downtown. So the bus actually comes right on campus. And so during orientation, when you finally arrive, you will receive your student ID card and a bus pass sticker from the student union. So this sticker lets you ride the City of Orillia transit system as much as you like, unlimited, between September 1st and August 30th. And then of course, like the next year that you're enrolled, you'll get another one. And then within a 5-minute bus ride, you can get to Walmart, Best Buy, which is where you can get like a cell phone. You can get your cell phone plans. There's TELUS nearby to also get like SIM cards and those sort of things. And then we have restaurants, gyms, grocery stores, and of course, those houses mean student housing. So we'll go to the next one. So this is our campus. Yes, it's tiny but mighty. So like we have here, it shows you the residence. So this is what we talked about. I lived in residence in my first year, and it's a really great experience to get to make friends. Even outside of your program, like I still have quite a group of friends from residence in first year. You know, you go to the dining hall every night and eat dinner together. So it's kind of like you create your own little family away from your home family. So the academic building, this is also known as Simcoe Hall. So this is where students who aren't in the 2-year education program like Claire, they come and do their courses in Simcoe Hall. And that's also where international orientation happens and a bunch of different events and stuff. You'll be very excited when you come and see it. It's very beautiful. The library, open spaces, tons of windows, really beautiful. And last but not least, we have the cafeteria. So if you're staying in residence, you'll be eating there every day. Or if you just want a quick bite to eat on campus, and the bookstore, so you can get all of your textbooks there. And they also have really great swag. I'm not wearing any today, but if you see me on campus, I'm probably wearing a sweater that says Lakehead. So they have really great stuff there.
Awesome. I'll jump in here. And I know we noted the previous slide had sort of an outdated aerial shot. This photo is a little more up to date, where you can see some of the development. And I say some of it because there's even more beyond this. But some of those new homes that are being built, the Costco is built, some new administrative buildings such as the OPP headquarters and the OPG power station and information system is across the street. Also to note, as you mentioned, we do have a downtown campus in Orillia for our education students called the Heritage Building. It's an old historic building that's been converted into a beautiful education space where our education students who are pursuing becoming a teacher here in Ontario can participate in all of their learning components. They may have select courses in the academic building. If you're joining us in our concurrent education program starting in year 1 and you have 6 years ahead of you, don't worry, you're going to get the best of both worlds and you'll be able to experience both locations. But for those students that may be pursuing a 2-year education program, that will be more predominantly focused on the Heritage Building. I'm going to pass it back to Emily to chat more about sort of what's close to campus, what to anticipate in the surrounding area, as we've already discussed, and then we'll move into some more questions.
Great, thank you. So number 1, you'll see it's marked as grocery store. So this was, again, an older photo, but that's where Costco is located. Since Costco has been there, it's actually grown quite a bit. So we now have a Starbucks there. We have a bunch of like local restaurants. There's a bunch of different cuisines. And so this is actually obviously a very common study spot off campus. And also a lot of students are employed at Starbucks and these local restaurants because they're so close to campus. So number 2 is a shopping center. So it's there's almost a few shopping centers within this area. So there's a Food Basics, which is a grocery store. Again, there are some options for international foods, different foods. And then there's a Best Buy in there. So again, like getting a cell phone or a SIM card, or maybe you need a new laptop. There's a gym called Fit for Less. There are a bunch of different restaurants. So if you're looking to switch it up, you don't want to eat in the dining hall that night, there's a ton of different options for you to go there, from like fast food to like nicer sit down restaurants. There's also the Cineplex, so the movie theater. So there are some opportunities to, go out and have fun within Westridge. And then number 3 is Zayre's. This is also a grocery store. It's up on the hill. It's a bit of a longer bus ride than Food Basics, but nonetheless, if they have a bit more selection, maybe depending on what you're looking for. So another great option. And then number 4 is another shopping center. So we have like Walmart, Winners, Staples. They have Michael's, the craft store in there. They have like a store for pets now. They have a bunch of different things. So again, another place that you can shop and enjoy, and again, other opportunities to be employed.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing a bit more about some of these locations and their connection to Lakehead and why they're important for students. Obviously, plenty of variety in terms of different stores to choose from, as you noted, several grocery stores that are also going to have different selections of produce, but also different selections of products, and then other opportunities in terms of restaurants, eateries, all that sort of stuff. I want to move into the question period while I can. I'm going to look through some of my questions. If there are any Orillia specific questions for Claire or Emily, please pose those in the Q&A as soon as possible. I know that Emily has to step out here shortly, so whenever she does that, we want to thank her for joining us nonetheless. In the meantime, I'm going to answer some general questions that apply to both campuses. So this one says, how much do jobs on campus pay per hour? Or what is the rate of salary? So here in Ontario, students actually make over $15 Canadian per hour. So it is quite a competitive rate per hour in terms of minimum wage. However, there are other jobs and other opportunities where you may be looking at other types of pay. So for example, I used to be a server in the restaurant industry. And so I made a server's wage, which is slightly less than what the general minimum wage is. However, I also made tips, which was really great. So I worked a little extra hard. I worked really hard to please those customers, ensure that their dining experience was phenomenal. And so with that being said, I was rewarded, and as is tradition here in Canada, I was tipped for that exceptional service. And so you can work a little extra to hopefully earn a bit more. And then in other cases, as you get into more upper year of studies, you may be looking at more specialized jobs where employers are willing to pay for that foundational knowledge you have in their area of study or your area of study. And so with that being said, you may be looking at more than minimum wage. Tying into this, and then several questions have been posed, is it easy to find part-time jobs in our hometowns? Absolutely. And so in today's webinar, we discussed a lot of those eateries, a lot of those stores, a lot of different accommodations and services and recreational opportunities. Each of those places that we discussed today and even more are typically looking for part-time employees to help fulfill their operational needs. And so we have not seen in any cases students coming to campus, if they are, putting in a decent effort, handing out their resume, following up with employers and making their best effort to secure a job, they are getting part-time jobs. If you are heading any roadblocks, whether it's maybe you get to the interview stage, but you're not getting that job offer, we also have a career services and co-op team at either one of our campuses, so both in Thunder Bay and Orillia, who run often resume workshops, interview prep workshops, and more that are going to help you find and secure a meaningful part-time job during your studies. And then, of course, tying into another question, it says, I wanted to know about the job opportunities after completing my master's. Should I get job experience in my home country before coming to Canada? So one of the things that Lakehead is very proud of is that we're an employment-driven university. Over 97.7%, nearly 100% of our graduates are employed within 2 years upon graduation. And so that speaks to both the education that we're able to offer our students, the career supports that we offer during their studies, and of course at graduation, but also the connections that we've made with employers in our regions and across Canada and beyond, of course. So with that being said, you are more than welcome to get experience in your home country. Maybe that's going to help you in your studies perhaps, but it's not necessary. And there's also other opportunities, whether it's community engagement, partnership programs, internships, cooperative education experiences, where you are actually working with employers in and around Lakehead University that will, of course, help you make the connections and network to get that job that you dream of one day. This other question says, I'm an international student, and by the time I reach Canada will be fall 2023. I have 2 years of experience. Will it be useful for job opportunities? Absolutely. Having a resume that has job experience, and then of course an amazing degree from Lakehead University, pardon me, is going to help you secure a good job upon graduation. And once again, the services and supports that we're able to offer will also similarly help you secure meaningful work. Just switching gears here. This one says, are we going to get access to this video? I was late due to some reason and I want to learn more about Thunderbait. Absolutely. You will get access to this recording. It's going to be published on our YouTube channel. And on that, I'll share our social medias. You can see them on your screen now. So YouTube at Lakehead International, it will be published on there in the coming business days. And I encourage you to check it out once again, where we explored Thunderbait at great depth. I'm going to pass it over to Martin to answer some questions. And then I'm also going to pose the question once again to our audience. If you have questions for Thunderbait or Orillia, now is your time. We have 2 current students here at Lakehead, Martin and Claire, who are happy to answer and share more about their experience here at Lakehead. Martin, over to you.
Thank you, Jordan. So I see some questions here over sports at the university and athletics facilities. I personally am participating in the men's volleyball club sports team, which I have been since my first year. So you will have those opportunities to participate with our club or our varsity teams since very early on. If you're interested in sports, if you're interested in staying fit and going to the gym, we also have some amazing athletics facilities on campus. We have our fairly recently opened Wolf Den, as well as our weight rooms, the hangar, and these are all very amazing facilities that I use quite often, besides me participating in club sports events. Additionally, we also have gyms in some of our other buildings, like the Borlasking Faculty of Education. There's a very good gym over there, and also the Faculty of Law building, the PACI, which you will be able to explore during your university years and be able to really experience this like athletic aspect of studying at Lakehead.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Martin. We do have a question from Shivam. It says, is there any sports teams at our university, for instance, cricket? So I'm glad that you posed that, because we actually had international students specifically from South Asia and more specifically India actually establish cricket teams on both of our campuses. So they play in our local community, but also at these facilities Martin mentioned, and they also in Thunder Bay, they often compete with the local college here, who also has a strong presence of students from India, and they have a cricket team. So it's really exciting to see that collaboration with the college, and it's a nice little rivalry, Lakehead versus Confederation. It's one of the many opportunities that students have. If cricket isn't your speed, if you're looking for other sports, you can learn more about athletics and recreation on our website. Just noting the time, it's just after 10 here, so I'm going to answer the questions I have marked. And then at that point, if you do have any other questions, we encourage you to connect with us on social media. It's on the screen for a reason, but also send us an email or connect directly with your recruitment advisor. So back to the questions. This one from Eugene says, I'm a graduate of civil engineering with over 5 years working experience in Ghana. Can that help me secure a part-time job? Or after graduation, how do I look for job opportunities? So I'll speak to the latter part first. In looking for job opportunities post-graduation, once again, you'll be able to access our career services and co-op team, but also in your final year of studies and throughout your degree, you'll also have access to what we love being the career and job fair. So that is where we actually bring hundreds of employers onto campus who are actively looking for new grads and current students to fill some of their positions. and are looking for hiring students, whether it's on the spot, whether it's taking your resume right then and there, whether it's booking an interview on the spot. They are looking for students to graduate, and that's why they come to Lakehead, because they know the value of our education. With that being said, answering your first part of your question, working 5 years in Ghana, is that going to help you secure a part-time job? Absolutely. Again, having work experience in your field in which you're pursuing can absolutely play a role in an employer's potential decision-making process, especially bringing some valuable input from maybe an international lens. Of course, that's not applicable in all cases per se. If you have an experience in civil engineering for 5 years in Ghana, but you're coming to look for a job in serving, like I mentioned, in the restaurant industry, not necessarily comparable, but I would assume that you probably were more so talking about your field of study. Going to some other questions. What are some of the areas that you would recommend students to rent in, or safe areas to get accommodations nearby in Thunder Bay and Orillia? So that's a great question. We actually are going to do a full session in April related to off-campus housing and accommodations, where we're going to dive into that topic a bit deeper and share more details. We do not facilitate off-campus accommodations and housing, so that is 100% up to the student who chooses to pursue that option. With that being said, in that webinar next month, we are going to discuss those areas that we may recommend, but there's so many other factors that are going to play into that decision. Is it close to a bus stop for you? What is the connection to our campuses in our hometown? Are there nearby amenities? Is there a grocery store? Is your favorite gym nearby? And then, of course, as you mentioned, is it safe? So in general, our hometowns are very safe locations for students to study. However, of course, you may be looking for what neighborhoods are the most ideal, and we're happy to make those recommendations. On the spot right now, I don't have them ready for you, but you can also, if you are looking to make that decision sooner than later, and certainly sooner than our April session, you can reach out to our International Student Services team at international@lakeheadu.ca to learn more about that. Then there's one final question I'll be able to answer here. It says, in a situation that I complete my MBA for 1 year and I do not get any job offers, if I happen to apply to Lakehead for a job opportunity to work with them, will I be considered? Absolutely. So this applies to all of our students. Martin and Claire are perfect examples of being current students who are working for Lakehead University. I am a perfect example of somebody who graduated with my business degree here at Lakehead and then got a full-time job. So whether you're an international student, whether you're a Canadian student, whether you are in the middle of your degree or just graduating, there are going to be job opportunities here at Lakehead University that you may wish to consider. Obviously, we can't guarantee jobs at this stage, but like I noted, keep your eye out, keep your sort of ear to the ground in terms of exploring those opportunities. And then you may one day find yourself working at the very university you graduated from. So this last question, just because it's a popular one, do you guys play genuine football? I'm going to take a wild guess here and say genuine means you're referring to what in Canada we call soccer. If that's not correct, we do have club teams for soccer and intramural teams for soccer, or football in Europe. So yes, you are more than welcome to participate and join that. If you are referring to North American football, we do not have any organized clubs at this point, but that could be something down the road that you may spearhead and start up, and with support with our athletic services team. On that note, folks, it is time to wrap up today's webinar. So I want to remind you once again to follow us and stay connected. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Lakehead International. You can take a virtual campus tour at lakeheadu.ca/tours. So we talked a lot about our hometowns, but not so much about our campuses. We did our best to cover it briefly, but you may actually want to see your labs, facilities, lecture halls, residence halls, cafeterias, and just outdoors. Our campuses are gorgeous. So I strongly encourage you to do that. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Grab your family, your friends, your guardians, and bring them onto the screen, and they'll also love to see your future campus. Last but not least, we have so many upcoming events in March, April, and May. We're very excited for them, but you're going to want to check them out Register, save your seat now. So scan that QR code or visit lakeheadu.ca/international-live. Alrighty, with that, I want to thank you again for joining us. Thank you to our panel, Martin, Claire, and of course, Emily headed out already, but we appreciate your time. I could not have done this session without you. And to our audience members, thank you so much for all the questions. You truly kept our session engaged, and it was a pleasure having you. So thank you again, and hopefully we'll see you at the next event. Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, I want to encourage you to comment below or connect with us on social media. We can be found at Lakehead International on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for watching once again, and hopefully we'll see you at the next live webinar. Bye for now.